Hello there guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about some of the new mechanics that are making their way into the Resident Evil 2 remake. Now some of these are going to change the gameplay up a lot, and these are going to increase the resource management that you're going to have to do as well, so there's a lot to look forward to here. But let's get into the details anyway. Now many of you may have noticed recently that there was an icon near the windows when you went close by. Now the reason this was due to the fact that you can now board the windows up, which makes it more difficult for the enemies to get in. But you'll obviously need to be carrying around boards on you for that to be a thing, so the resource management is going to play into that part. And we actually have a quote from an interview. In the demo, I noticed the ability to spend limited resources to board up and block the windows to stop zombies from getting in. I'm guessing this will play into the different campaigns, so how deep an impact will one campaign have on the other? Yoshiaki Hirabayashi says in response, there's a heavy amount of impact. So at one point I was talking to the director and I was like, hey, what's going on here? There's tons of zombies coming through here. He actually laughed at me. He said, you should have been careful. You should have gone this route. You should have boarded the windows up. So yeah, things you do earlier like this with the windows does have a heavy impact on what you might encounter later on. Now there's actually an instance this occurs in the E3 demo that we were showcased, and I want to show you guys that exactly here, so please do pay close attention to this scene in particular, and then I'm going to elaborate over it afterwards.
Jesus. Open up! Hurry! Open up! Open this goddamn door! I'll get you out! Help me! Please! Help me! Give me your hand. I got you. Give me your other hand. Jesus Christ. Get back! Shit! You can do this. Stop it!
Now as you just read from that interview and also from what you just saw, you can obviously board the windows up and stop these ganks happening. This basically means you can change the flow of the gameplay, stop and impede certain enemies from gaining access so easily towards you, you can stop certain ganks, and I'm sure in speedruns this is actually going to be kind of a crucial factor in making certain areas much quicker to traverse through. The other factor to play here in though is the resource management management. You're gonna have to collect wooden boards to be used to board up the windows. Of course, this isn't just some game where you're gonna be able to board every window up, because that would just be too easy, and so they will take up part of your inventory, and inventory management due to that is going to be extremely crucial, even more so than the original Resident Evil 2. Gunpowder, an element that was actually introduced in Resident Evil 3, and it gave you the ability to craft ammunitions of different types. Now we saw this in Resident Evil 7 as well, and it seems like it's making a return to Resident Evil 2's remake. It looks like not only will you be able to find handgun ammo laying around as well as other types of ammunition, but you'll also be able to make your own. I'm not sure if the wording here is correct, because of course in Resident Evil 3 as well as 7 there was a few different types of ammunition we could actually craft from gunpowder, but it might just be handgun ammo only. But there's gonna be a plethora of weapons, of course. It's a remake for Resident Evil 2, and Hirabayashi has actually said that there is going to be a plethora of weapons to use. So will we get recipes to unlock where we can use the gunpowder to craft, say for example, shotgun ammo, which would be extraordinarily helpful, or will it just be handgun specific only? We'll have to wait to see. But just remember guys, there's always the infinite ammo mode if you just want to go in guns blazing, destroying absolutely everything in your path. Now the herb system of Resident Evil is nothing new. It's in every single game basically, and everybody knows the basic premise of mixing a red and green herb to produce a mixture which restores all of your health. Now we know you can mix other types of herbs together, and depending on the mixture you get a different result. Now these are very contextual to the situation you're in, so you should obviously keep the herbs different and separated until you know what specific thing you're going to need to use them for. Now Resident Evil 2's remake is going to re-include the blue herb, but this is a returning element with a new feature, and this is if you mix the blue and red herb together, you can strengthen one's constitution. Now constitution is usually a stat in games to do with health, so one would assume that your ability to resist damage would probably increase, or at least you get a health increase for a short duration while the effect of the herb is in place on you. Maybe it's temporary, maybe it's permanent, we'll just have to wait to see. But that would give you a choice between having the anti-venom properties or permanently increasing your health, which would actually be a very interesting way of making the player decide how to utilize their resources properly. And looking at the last paragraph on this, it also looks like there may be more herb combinations included in Resident Evil 2's remake, and who knows what effect those may have. We'll just have to wait until we find out more, and that's when the game comes out on January 25th, 2019. There's not much more of a wait guys. Now it looks like the fuse system will also be returning for Resident Evil 2's remake, and this was something from Resident Evil 7 first introduced in the beginning hour demo. Now it looks like you're gonna have to utilize these to unlock specific areas, and maybe you'll have to choose specific doors to be unlocked only once at a time. I'm not sure if you'll be able to have everything unlocked all at once, and this will be another part of the resource management, which they look like they're going all in, because I don't even know how many times I've said it in this video. There'll be lots of different uses for this. They're elaborating on it way more than the original game, and the use for the elevator with the key item, and it looks like these are going to be normalized items used throughout most of the game's areas. Now the combat knife is very much a mixture of the old parry daggers mixed with the normalized blade we've become used to in the latest installments. So what I mean by this is you can kind of just slash away as you please after you obtain it, but you can also use it in a defensive manner to get a zombie off of you and deal critical damage to them, but then you'll have to retrieve the actual knife from their body afterwards, which they may still be alive, requiring a few additional gunshots to finish off, and if there are other zombies in the area, this can get quite intense. So it looks like they're mixing up the defensive items, like I said, with the standard combat knife into this new kind of hybrid, which is actually a much more streamlined and efficient system, especially for the third person perspective. Anyway guys, those are some of the new mechanics that are coming to Resident Evil 2's remake. I hope you did enjoy the video, and there's plenty more news coming soon, and there's gonna be a lot of interviews and goodies to be quoted, lots of good juicy sweet information as we love it. So do please leave a like and a subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and also go share the video with your uncles, grandmas, sisters, cousins, sisters, brothers, friends, daughters, uncles, son, because at that point you have no idea who they are, and there's no better person to share it with. I hope you're having a beautiful day. As always, take it easy and peace.